Namaskar, welcome back to my channel Sumedha Reads. So, today we are doing a video which is based on recommendations, and it is for none other than the people who are new readers or want to get into reading, beginner to reading, thinking of reading for a while but don't know where to start reading. So, the books I will be recommending today are of the list of the books which I have read when I was a beginner reader, and while reading through the years, the books I read which I felt like, oh, this might be something that a new reader might enjoy while exploring different type of genres. So, like, most of the books are back in India, so I don't really have physical copies of book. I just have 2 copies, which I'll be showing when they come, and rest like some of them I heard it on like Audible. And if you are a new reader and you don't want to always buy a new copy, you can actually have subscription to audiobooks, that is Audible, or like even these days on Spotify and even on YouTube you can find Audible audiobooks on internet everywhere. And like, if not a PDF format, Kindle is even the best option, so you guys can go for it as well if you don't want to invest and you don't feel like okay, this I want to go with. So you can always choose a digital option. So today we have quite a big list of books, and I would recommend it to the beginners, most of the books, but obviously if you are a veteran reader,
perfect. Have a name, go right, and if you want to read them, go for it. No one's stopping you. So,
the first book is actually the first book that got me into reading, and thus I would actually recommend that book to you guys, and it is none other than John Green's Fault in Our Stars. And if you have seen the movie, then you must read the book. I would just recommend it because, like, I have never seen the movie, but the book was so descriptive to me that it felt personally that I was watching the movie. And I will also tell you the backstory about it. I was actually, when I was reading this book, I was in my 10th grade, and that were my final exam, the board exams, and I had like 10 days gap between one exam. So I had a time and I picked just this book and I was like randomly reading it, and I was bawling my eyes out on reading. Like, the book is just so good. Like, I just absolutely love that book. So what happens is, in this there's a girl called Hazel and a guy called Gus. So mostly it's about their story. So Hazel has a type of cancer where she can't breathe properly and has to have oxygen tank or something. I don't really remember because it's like been almost near to 10 years since I read it, so I'm just explaining whatever I remember of it. But if it's wrong, I'm sorry, but I promise you guys it's a really interesting book. So yeah, so Hazel and then Gus, they meet in a group, a therapy kind of group, where all people who face some problem in their life, physically, emotionally, or mentally, they gather together and meet. So that is where they meet, and from there on they become friends, meet each other, go to each other's place. They are teenagers, basically 15-16 years. And then I'll just no, I don't want to give you a spoiler, okay? So yeah, it's a very emotional book, and like it's a little obviously romantic, sorry, book, but definitely recommend it. It had me bawling my eyes out when I was literally giving my board exams I read during that time, and I like this book. I couldn't stop thinking about it for like 2-3 days, and I had to get back to like, girl, get a grip. You need to study. But yeah, definitely recommend this book. It's worth, worth, worth reading. It's just so good. Like, just go for it if you wanna start with something very light and I mean emotionally a little heavy, but yeah, I love that book. And the second book is Shiva Triology by Amish Tripathi. Okay. I love this book, and I think this is the only series that I have read ever in my life. Like, I want to get into series, but I'm like too scared to commit to a series because series is like sometimes some books are not out and you have to wait for it. But yeah, one series I'm like currently looking to read is Poppy War series by R.F. Kong. I think, yeah. So I want to read that, but I am still a little skeptical. Like, should I commit to a series or not? But yeah, so I was talking about Shiva Triology. Let's get back to it. So yeah, so very good book. It's about Indian mythology, kind of, obviously in a fictional way, not as it is, but the way each and every character is mentioned, each and every character is developed. It is developing over a time. That is Shiva, Parvati, their sons Kartikeya and Ganesha, and the daughter, I don't remember her name. Oh my god. But yeah, so it's mostly about Shiva and how on the 3 books it goes on, and how the war comes and what happens and everything. The Nagas play the role, like everything is there. It's like literally just so good if you want to read something for a longer time, and if you like to have a good storybook. And it's like I like the part where, like, because I was a beginner reader that time, and Amish Tripathi was a very good start to reading books, at least I would say, because his writing style is very, very, very admirable. Because the battle scenes he wrote in that book, I can like very mildly remember now, at least, but that time it was just so good and descriptive that I could actually imagine that battle scenes and everything happening in front of me, like I was watching a movie, kind of. Really good. Recommend 110%. Go for it. And the next book is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Okay, first of all, Matt Haig is one of the very good authors I know. And like, I read this book by him 3 years ago, I think 3-4 years ago. And that time I was like emotionally and like mentally quite not in a good place, and when I read it, it gave me, I would say, a solace, a kind of a warm hug, you would say. It's mostly about one we have a, okay, I really am bad with remembering names in the books, but yeah. So we have this one main character, and she commits a suicide. And when she commits a suicide, she is in not even in the hell or heaven, she is in between. That is called Midnight Library. So this Midnight Library has different types of books and everything, and whichever books she picks up, it's the life she would have got if she picked this career, or like if she chose to live this differently. So it has n number of lives in it, and every book she picks up and come back to the library and picks up has a certain type of lesson. And that actually drew me in, because the way, I would say, Matt Haig's writing is it just pulls you in just one go. And if you want to read something related, if you're dealing with some emotional or mental trouble, if you want to pick some book related to it, I would suggest you. But if you are really too much not in that good state, then I would not recommend it to you. Please choose it wisely if you want to go for it or not. But if you want to understand and read something, then just go for it. And the next book is, I would say, two books by the same author and just so good. It is Da Vinci Code and Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. If you like crime, mystery, this is the author for you. Like, I would say, like, I think every book of his is very, very good. And I think as a beginner to explore those mystery writing, crime style writing is just so fun to read. And the secrets that are revealed in these books are like, wow, like it's just so good. I have both of these, like Da Vinci Code I have because I had the copy, and Angels and Demons was something I didn't have, but I picked my friend's copy. I have a vlog also of it, so I'll link it, you can see it, and it's just so good. Just read those, they are like very good. I love those. The next book is Heaven by Meiko Kawakami. This, I would say, is the book I like, but I didn't really love it. Uh, First of all, let me tell about Kawakami's writing style. It's very, very good. The way she writes, the lyrical, poetical way she writes is so good that you would just go into that world itself. And Haven has some triggers, and if you are not comfortable with it, just don't go for it. First read the triggers of the book. It's basically about two people who are bullied in school, and it's very badly they are bullied. So it's about their story and how they go about on life facing these two daily bullying, and how they become friends and what happens. And it just goes on, and it's just very gut wrenching, I would say, because to have that descriptive sense of bullying was as if I was facing it myself. That's the power of her writing, I would say, because oh my god, I'm just thinking of those scenes where she descriptively wrote about certain bullyings that happened to the two main characters. And yeah, but yeah, I would definitely recommend to the beginners, because it's a very good book to deep dive into the psyche of people who bully and people who are bullied as well. Go for it. And the next is the book I love so much, like genuinely. Um, As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow by Zolfa Katohu. I I really want everyone to read this book. Like, just a must read. I read it online. I didn't have a copy of this book ever. So, but I want to get this copy, but it's very costly. But yeah, I read it, the e-copy of this, and it's just so beautifully written. And she is like a debut, it was her debut novel, and it's like basically revolves around the Syrian revolution or war that happened during that time, Syrian revolution war kind of situation that happened, and how many people from there came to different countries to settle on. So basically in that context it's written, and it's a love story revolving around a love story, but also deals with how people who flew, who are immigrants who flew from their place, their home, to a different country because they were not safe at their home. So it's a very beautiful book, very emotional. I just love that. Definitely a must read, I would say. And the next book is The Wisdom Book by Dachi, that is Kamalesh D. Patel. Again, a very good book for the people who are parents, or who are even hollow parents, I would say. Hello parents, sorry. So this basically is about how family and children are not just the people who are blood related, but also who are far away, who are our friends, who are our maybe colleagues, and they help us bring the child together. So it's basically revolves around that. It's like life lessons and teachings, and what are the main guiding principles that um, creates this wisdom that can evolve to through the generations forward. A very good book, definitely recommend. Okay, so the next book is Sister of My Heart by Chitra Banerjee Devakaruni. Okay, first of all, Chitra Banerjee, I would recommend every book by her, be it Palace of Illusions, this, Independence, everything. Like her writing style, I just absolutely love it. So, Sister of My Heart is basically about, I think, two sisters who not exactly sisters, but they are friends, but they are so connected, deeply connected with each other, that even though after being married and going away, how deeply their heart is still enchanted towards each other is a very beautiful story. I actually heard the audiobook of this and it was just worth the time. Definitely please go for it. If you want to go for some audiobook version, definitely recommend. The next book is Me Before You, and the sequel to it, After You, by Jojo Meoz. I don't exactly remember, but I actually also about this book. Like these are two books. So Me Before You, I liked it. After You, I remember I didn't enjoy it at all. This also has a movie, I feel, so you can even go for movie as well. If you don't want to read, I mean just to, but reading, guys, reading. So yeah, Me Before You, from what I remember, I could say that it was about a girl who was like working part times and everything, but was not able to settle. And then she meets a person. He's handicapped, but he has been like many he has been experienced many adventures in life, been to many places and everything. But now when I think when he went to hike or something, he fell down and he injured his leg. That's how he is not able to move at all now, and she becomes a caretaker of him. So it's about this book and how it goes on, the story develops, and it's an emotional book also. So definitely a read if you are a romantic person and like want to read something cozy. It is a one. And the next book is A Farewell to Arms by Ernest Hemingway. First of all, this edition, guys, just look at this edition. Just how gorgeous it is. Like, absolutely love it. And how floppy the copy is. Like, so this book is in this, sorry, this book is, what is it, in the context of World War One, where a soldier is battling, obviously, but has postings in different areas, and then he meets a nurse and he falls in love with her, and the story goes on. And I don't want to spoil, so I can't say the full description of it, but yeah, it's basically about that and how the situation in that time in World War One was. It's about that, and it's actually like said to be like even Ernest Hemingway was the, I think, driver of an ambulance or something during the World War One. So it has certain of his experience also during that time. Definitely a must read. I absolutely loved this book. I read a e-copy and I wanted to actually have the physical copy of it, so I bought this. Definitely recommend. And the next book is Stories We Never Tell by Savi Sharma. Again, a very good book if you are a beginner. And I think I read it when like it's been few years now, but I did enjoy it. Like reading this book. It's about two people, that is Jahnavi and Ashray. So they first the stories goes on separately. Jahnavi is a social media manager, influencer, and Ashray is a hardworking guy who is working in a normal company, and he has been through a lot in his life and everything has happened, and Johnny is someone who has been working like crazy and who is kind of a perfectionist, and she drives everything towards it only. So when their life intersects, how they both uh, talk and how they both share their stories, and there are obviously some stories we never tend to share to people because how sad they are, or we think that will someone even listen to that. So it's mostly about that, and like how their life goes on when they meet and everything. A very good one. The next book is The People in the Trees by Yana Gihara, sorry. Yeah. And this book I actually liked quite a lot while reading. This is actually a real life story. There is a documentary based on this book, and it is about one kind of scientist, not exactly scientist, but yeah, what was that word? I don't remember. So yeah, it's about him, and he went to, not scientist, yeah, physician or doctor, I think. Yeah, I don't remember what, but yeah, sorry. So he goes to an island where the people are in very, very not not even rural area, but they are like deep in the forest. So he goes there and meets them, and how he cures them, but over a period of time he adopts few kids, and how he brings them home, and like the story goes on from there. It's based on a real life incident. If I find the documentary, I'll link it to the video. You can just go and watch it. But yeah, it's a very good book if you want to just just go through something, a work of fiction, but um, a real life incident, and as well as the way Hania writes is very good. Like I love her writing style and the way they write. The quotes specifically, there are many quotes in the book. While reading it, I had underlined quite a few. I annotated. I have back in India, but not have this copy here. But yeah, definitely worth reading. Okay, so the next book is The Perfect World of Miwaku Sumida by Clarissa Gonvan. So it's a book about obviously Miwaku Sumeda, who is like perfectly fine and everything, and one day she goes missing. And there's this guy she was in touch with, and he is a good friend of her, and he then starts searching for her, like where did she go, why did she disappear and everything. And goes on from there. About it's also deals with some mental health thing, not mental as it deals with mental health issues and everything. A very good book. Again, the writing style was the story was very simple, like definitely worth reading. The next book is Murder on Orient Express by Agatha Christie. Okay, this is again another book you must read, because if you like want to start as a reader, like thriller, mystery, and crime is a book that actually gets you into reading a lot, and this develops I think mostly your reading habit as well. This was like, it's not something that you would gain some knowledge on, but the way the book is written, the way it has, the story develops, how a murder happens on the Orient Express and everyone is a suspect, and no one is allowed to onboard the train until and unless the criminal is found. So it's a very funny and obviously a little dark, but a very good detective kind of novel. If you are into a detective stuff, you should definitely read and maybe try to figure out what happened in the Orient Express. And like any book by Agatha is like that only, and you would definitely like it if you read. Just go for it. And the last but not the least is Turtles Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. It's another very good book. So yeah, Turtles All the Way Down is another good book because it like deals with and deals not mental health issues, and it tells you how you should be understanding and accepting to the people who are hurting, who are facing some mental health issues. A very good book. Just go for it.
Like, but yeah, I have just said like this for every book, go for it, but I mean it because they are really so good. Like,
I really enjoyed this book, and I definitely feel that these are the books as a beginner. If you want to get into reading, you must read, and it would actually build your reading habit. And I think rather than being on, like, we are obviously constantly surrounded by um, phones and digital media everywhere, so physical copy is very good. But if you can't have physical or don't want to go for a physical copy in the first go, you can just have an audio version, just play it and maybe plug your earphones or just keep it on loudspeaker and just do your tasks and listen to it. It's a good way, to just calm yourself and have a certain kind of liking to a thing, or just enjoying reading itself. Now we don't even have an habit of reading. We used to have newspapers and magazines in all days. I'm saying as if I'm like, I don't know, 40, but I'm 25, guys. So yeah, it's about like just building a habit to just enjoy yourself while reading something and just be in the moment. So these are books I definitely recommend to you guys, and I want to know if you liked this video. If you liked it, please comment down and tell me how were my recommendations, and if you liked it, then also tell me that if I should make the part 2 or not, because I would definitely like to make the part 2 of the video as well. So if you haven't read any of these books, if you are a reader already, go for it, read them. And if you have read of any of these books, comment down and tell me what are the books you really liked. And until then, I will until then, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you get the notifications when I post. Until then, toodles. See you in the next video.